Calling. Oh God, I sounded really bad. You guys probably recognize that as the Grammy-winning song Shallow, starring one Miss Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Now let's talk about books. Hey everybody, my name is Michael from Team Epic Reads, and you are watching the Epic March Book Haul. I have a desk in front of me and I feel so powerful now. I feel like a news reporter. So as I've started off these past few book hauls, I'm going to talk about the books that I've been reading recently, or just book, and how that fits into the Year of Epic Reads Monthly Reading Challenge. If you don't know what the Year of Epic Reads Monthly Reading Challenge is, you should click the link down below because it's going to tell you what the Year of Epic Reads reading challenges are. They're monthly, weekly, and quarterly challenges where there's a Facebook group where you can talk to people and read a different book in each sort of challenge. There are weekly challenges, of course, like I said, and every challenge has a theme, and all the info's down below, so you can go click and find out. But the monthly challenge is to read a book of new beginnings. And so, oh God, I have my books all out in front of me in a very messy manner. I didn't stack them up this time. Where is it? Ha! So the book that I read for A Book of New Beginnings is If You're Out There by Katie Lutzenheiser. So this book I'm going to talk about in a little bit as well because it's a book that we have coming out in the month of March, but it follows a girl who, after her best friend moves away, she sort of has to start over in high school because she was like the only person she cared about, and so she's in the same place but she's sort of beginning new because she doesn't have this person who was high school to her. And I'll get a little more into it later, but I really enjoyed this book. It's a really interesting thriller because you don't know if something happened to the friend. Is she okay? Is she not okay? But again, I'll get into that in a sec. So now that we talked about what I read, that long list of books, let's get into what we have coming out in the month of March. I guess I should start with If You're Out There by Katie Lutzenheiser. So, like I said, this follows a girl named Zan whose best friend moves to California, and they've been friends their whole life. They're really close. Their moms were friends. And so when Zan's best friend moves, she also ghosts Zan and Zan's like, whoa, we're best friends. Foul play, like something isn't right about this. And everyone's like, Zan, she just wants to start over, like let her have her new life. You'll hear from her eventually. And Zan's like, no, something's wrong here. I'm best friend. Were you her best friend? No, I was. And so she sort of is insisting something's wrong, but no one believes her until she meets this mysterious new guy in her Spanish class who is actually willing to believe her. And so it's having this person's belief in her that allows her to move forward and figure out this mystery of whether or not something actually happened to her best friend. And you'll just have to read to find out. So the next book I have to tell you guys about is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. And I have to just say, I love the cover of this book, and it's a theme that continues on the back. And you might be asking, hey Michael, in this casual position, why are people repeating on this book? Let me tell you. This book is about a boy named Jack who's had a huge crush on his best friend's girlfriend and his friend that he's also been friends with for a long time. And it makes his life kind of difficult. And then one night at a college party, he meets this girl who he just totally kicks it off with, and he falls head over heels from her, and they start dating, and he just genuinely is very into this person. And then one night she calls him to let him know something's wrong with her, and she's in the hospital, and she's sick, and he's panics because like this person that he's falling for and he's really into is been dating is something's wrong with them. And so he runs out of bed and he runs to go see her and he hits his head. And so the next book I have to tell you about today is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. And I just have to say, I tricked you guys. It's a time loop book. So he keeps going through these time loops where he thinks if he does something differently, he can save this girl, because whenever he wakes up from hitting his head or whatever happens to him, he starts again the night he meets her. And so he's just so sure that if he does something differently or does something right, he'll be able to save her. And whether or not he can, you'll just have to read and find out. That's a recurring theme in this book haul, you guys. So the next book I have here is Sherwood. Can you see that? You can see the shininess on the cover. So this book, let me read the opening synopsis line to you. Robin of Locksley is dead. And in his absence, Maid Marian has to take on his green cloak and sword and sort of defend and protect the people since he's no longer there to do it. And I just think that's a fascinating setup for a book. And it's essentially a gender-bent Robin Hood. So I'm very excited for this. I have not had the chance to read it, but I really want to. And again, you can actually see that's her in the Robin Hood. She is Robin Hood. So I'm realizing there are a lot of mysteries for you guys to solve this month. I hope you're up for the challenge, because the next book I have to talk about is A Question of Holmes by Brittany Cavallaro. This is the 4th and final book in the Charlotte Holmes series. I have the first 3 books here. You can see them all together, and they're fun, colorful spines. And so this is a mystery series about the descendants of Sherlock and Watson. And so it stars Charlotte Holmes and Jamie Watson, and they go to this school together, and they know of each other because they are the descendants of these famed crime solvers. And over the years of the school they go to together, they sort of have to decide what their relationship is to each other, and if they like each other, and if they get along, and solve all of these mysteries. And so this is the 4th and final book in the series, so you guys definitely need to check out. It's bingeable, it's so fantastic, and it follows the characters after they've graduated from their school and have to decide, like officially decide what they mean to each other and what their relationship is. And they're not out of the mystery game yet, because there's this acting program where someone went missing and accidents keep happening. And so there's one last mystery for this fantastic duo to solve. And I do highly, highly recommend you check out this series, guys. So many mysteries, so much fun. So the next book I have to tell you guys about today is Deathcaster by Cindy Williams Chima. And I have to, because I love the map, show you the map that it's got inside. Oh no, can you see it? Yeah, all right, that's good. And this is, did I say, the 4th and final book in the Shattered Realms series. It is a companion series to the Seven Realms series. And so this is just this really fantastic high fantasy series about, I feel like the best way to tell you what this is about is to read the back to you. So, the realms descend into chaos as 3 rival armies battle for control. The young Grey Wolf Queen fights for her throne with the help of an unlikely band of misfits who share one goal: to defeat the ruthless Empress in the East. And so this is a high fantasy series similar to Game of Thrones that's just got like fantastic world building and a lot of different POVs, and essentially book 4 finds them at an all-out war. And so I definitely recommend reading the first 3 before reading this one, but this is a fantastic, fantastic fantasy series. Cindy Williams Chima, she knows what she's doing. So keeping in the realm of fantasy for a second, I have The Queen's Resistance, which is the sequel to The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. And first of all, this cover is stunning. I'm just gonna stare longingly at it for a little, I gotta talk about it. Okay, so this is set in a world where you can have 5 passions, and passions are essentially areas of study that you can pursue in your life. And this girl, she doesn't know what she wants to do, and she sort of essentially fails getting a passion, but then this man comes to her and offers to be her patron, which is someone who sort of helps her come along and study her passion. And she realizes he had ulterior motives, and she ends up a piece in this growing resistance / rebellion. And so I'll say in book 1, the rebellion happens. How it turns out, I'm not gonna say, but there isn't exactly peace after everything that happened. And so everybody's a little vulnerable, and it's this really, really intriguing and rich, lush fantasy book, and I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. And the next book I have to tell you guys about today is Heroine by Mindy McGinnis. If you've read Mindy McGinnis before, you know she is just an amazing, powerful writer, and what she does with words is really, really impactful. And so this next book she has is Heroine, and it's about the softball player who's gets into a car crash, and it sort of sends her career on a spiral, and like her life in softball is her life. Like, it was her future, it was everything, it was where she was most comfortable. And so she gets prescribed painkillers for her accident, and as time passes and as she's trying to heal and she's struggling, she realizes that the painkillers not only help the pain, but they make her feel good. And she ends up getting to know this group of people who are also injured athletes who have turned to painkillers, and it's sort of, her story spirals, and there's a list of resources in the back of the book for anyone who's ever experienced or might be experiencing things similar to what happened in the book, and it's just a really powerful, impactful story. So the next book I have to tell you guys about has a psychedelic cover, and I don't know if that's a word people use. It kind of just makes me think of lava lamps, but like, look at this. There's a lot of fantastic covers this month, I just have to say. I've loved all of them. But this book, The Pioneer by Bridget Tyler, is about pioneers, but space pioneers. So there's a girl who finally arrives on this planet that they've been traveling to with her family and other pioneers and people with them on the spaceship, but their mission went like terribly wrong, and they finally arrive at this planet, and she realizes that her mom has been keeping like a dangerous and deadly secret from everyone, and it comes down to her deciding if she exposes it, and like nothing went as planned, and it's an outer space mission. I will say that. So it's definitely epic and out of this world. Hello, I'll be here for jokes all week. So the next book I have to tell you guys about today is Other Words for Smoke by Sarah Maria Griffin. And I think the best way to tell you guys about this book, as you can tell, it's a little spooky, it's a gothic thriller horror novel, is to read the interior flap copy. So if I could have some mood lighting in here, there we go. In the house at the end of the lane, there is a darkness hiding in the walls, watching, waiting, consuming. It will devour everything you have, everything you are willing to give, and everything you are not. Watch yourself. If you aren't careful, it will all come tumbling down. So that's Other Words for Smoke. So before we go, I want to tell you guys about some books we have from other publishers this month. And first up is 5 Feet Apart. And second up is 5 Feet Apart, the movie tie-in edition. And this is by, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember all these, Rachel Lippincott with Mickey Daughtry and Tobias Iaconis. So, as you can tell from the cover, this is being made into a movie with Cole Sprouse, and I'm sorry that I don't remember the actress's name, but I actually do know who that is. And this is a book about 2 teens in a hospital who have cystic fibrosis falling in love, but because of their disease, they're unable to ever come into contact with each other, or it could be deadly. And I've seen the trailers, you've probably seen the trailers, and it does sound like a really, really interesting and potentially heartbreaking story because I haven't read it. I don't know how it plays out. And then I have We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal, and this is an ancient Arabian-inspired fantasy novel about a girl who disguises herself as a man, as a hunter, and so she can support and feed her people, and it's in a land where a war is brewing, and she's on the losing side, essentially, and so she has to go on this journey to find an artifact that can restore magic to her land. And it sounds like a really epic fantasy, and I've been hearing some fantastic things about this, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Michael Booklion. I'm tired of speaking. You have to be tired of hearing me speak, and I will see you for the next Epic Reads. Can I help you, Talia?
Oh, well, you know, you've kind of had the room all morning, and it's time for me to film my book
because
talk
I'm
with
filming.
shelf
I'm
stuff.
filming.
You're done filming. It's over. It's time for book talk with Talia on Shelf Stuff.
She's really persuasive. Okay.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Say bye.
Bye. Okay. I'll see you next month.
Hope y'all enjoyed, but
okay.
you know,